learn to trust that, because we're so used to communicating the truth theatrically that it takes a while to learn how to do that cinematically. I would say it took quite a few auditions. My manager would agree with you. They'd say, like, he's good, he's coming along, he's a work in progress, but yeah, in a couple of years we'll see him, etc. I think once I learned how to trust the camera, there's always this sort of in head, like, they're not going to understand what I'm saying, they can't hear me, blah, blah, blah. But once you realize that the microphone's attached here, the camera's back here, then auditions started to click. I think the break for me, and work begets work, meaning confidence grows each time you get another job. And each time you get a chance to spend a little time on a film set, you say like, oh, I know this isn't so foreign, this isn't so scary. And we tend to live our lives in these boxes that we're comfortable with. And you have to kind of force yourself outside of that box from time to time in order to let real growth occur. And so one of my first jobs that was recurring was on a TV show called Third Watch. And I can remember they were using all this technical jargon that I didn't understand. I didn't know what a mark was, how to hit a mark, or okay, back to one, which means you go back to the beginning and you start over again. And so I would just look around and I'd see what everybody else did. And I'm gonna act like I belong here, even though I really don't belong here. But eventually I'll act it until I know it, and then when I know it, then people still treat me like I knew it all along. But if I can recommend anything, get yourself a camera, work on some screenplays, etc., and watch yourself. We all have these weird habits that you're not even cognizant of until you watch yourself in front of the camera. And might be a little painful at first because you're like, oh, that's not at all what I thought I was doing. So then eventually those things will get closer and closer to what you think and what you actually see. Yes?
For young actors like us, do you
and
think
myself.
No, like high schoolers.
Okay.
Do you think it would be better for us to start out on stage or go straight to cameras and movies?
Well, it all depends on what's in your heart. For me, stage is home base. Stage is where I started. Stage is where I'll always return to. And I feel like folks that cut their chops on stage have an easier transition to working in front of the camera than people who work in front of the camera and then try to come up on stage. The camera doesn't require you to use your body in the same sort of way. And as my manager has been saying very astutely, this is a very athletic activity. This is something that you have to know how to use your body in a more full way than you have to do on camera, unless you're playing James Bond or, that type of thing. So then it's something completely different. But I'm a fan of the stage. And my friends from the TV show who haven't done stage, and they'll look at me and they'll be like, so you're like a theater actor. And I say, no, I'm an actor. Because they try to turn their nose up at it or something. But if they tried to get up here and do what you all have been doing today, they would be lost. That's, I got to say about that.
What would be your favorite?
I had a lot of fun on this TV show, Supernatural. The Vampire Hunter was a lot of fun because it was so different, and you have to really engage your imagination. It's also fun for me. I like being a bad guy. I feel like I'm a good person in life, and so I get a chance to sort of act out an aspect of myself that I don't get a chance to act out in life. It's like controlled schizophrenia. I feel like I have 1,000 characters that constantly live inside of me, and I have to let one out at a time, and normally it's the one that other people won't get freaked out by. So whenever I get a chance to play a character that lets one of the less attractive ones out, I relish that a great deal. Yes. this is some whim that he's following and whatnot, and other people want to try to, especially in high school, and then in life in general, people want to put you into a category. Oh, that's the theater geeks, those are the jocks, those are the nerds, those are the hippies, etc., etc. And I feel like a lot of life, for me, my personal evolution is learning how to not really put myself in that box. Like, people may see me one way, but I know what I have to offer to the world. So having a knowledge of who you are as a person and having a knowledge of self that allows you to know that you are worth something very special, hopefully will take away from what how your peers influence what choices you make in life. Nobody wants to be the kind of person, I don't think, that is constantly at the whim of public opinion. And the sooner you take a stance on that and say, no, I'm choosing this not because other people expect me to do it. I'm choosing this because it's the popular thing to do. I'm choosing this because, I'll fit in. But if you just choose it because it's what's in my heart right now, I think you'll have a tough time going along. Yes?
All the people that you have worked with, as directors and actors, who's like the closest to your
Oh man, so many favorites. That's really tough. I mean, because every time you do a show, you form a family. You know what I mean? Like, every time you do a play, and you guys spend 4 weeks together, or however long it is that you do rehearsing, you get so tight. You get so, it's family. So I have so many families that I love dearly, that I can't answer that question. But what I can answer is that the people who are most secure in themselves, who are most secure in their talent, or who they are as people, have no reason to be mean, or small, or petty, or short. Like, for the longest time, I used to ask myself this question: do you have to be an anus in order to be an artist? Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, do you have to be a bit of a douche in order to be It's no. Like, honestly, I'm so happy to know that you can be a good person, treat other people with respect. And as a matter of fact, it's usually the most talented people who are so kind and so generous. People who